Hi internets, I'm Ross. I'm going to try and explain Obamacare. Actually, I'm going to try and explain some of the conversation about Obamacare. See, this is the Talk Better project. Every month I take a topic on the news and break it down into 5 parts. I try to show how knowing the politics, facts, historical context, partisan context, and vocabulary can help everyone talk about politics just a little bit better. So whether you know a lot about current events and news or not very much at all, if I can make conversations that you have with people you disagree with just a little bit better, I'm happy. Let's get right into it. This month's topic is Obamacare, the ACA, or the Affordable Care Act, also known as the greatest law written in 50 years. Also known as the worst law written in 50 years. This video is part 1 of 5. Today's focus, politics. Different voices talking about the same thing. The ACA, the Affordable Care Act. So let's talk ACA. Now remember, this is a law that was passed almost exclusively by Democrats, and Republicans really don't like it. Now, I've always thought that that divide was pretty obvious. See, every Democrat wants to turn everyone into paleo-vegans through the Federal Healthfulness Agency, and all Republicans hate everyone, and want to return to the good old days of paying for medicine with gold bullion. That's not true. See, generally speaking, Democrats are inclined toward guaranteed equal coverage of services for all, while maximizing social safety nets through government regulation. And Republicans are generally inclined toward personal responsibility, competitive free markets, and limited government size. Now, obviously this is way oversimplified, but that doesn't make it a bad place to start from. I wanted to start off with those big ways that Democrats and Republicans disagree with each other, because I think it's important to see that the two parties start from different assumptions about why we even have government in the first place. So let's take that notion and move it forward into healthcare. Spoiler alert, they still don't agree. But to understand why, we should talk about one central question. Whose responsibility is healthcare? Is it the government's job to pay for health services and health insurance for everyone? Or is it a private citizen's job to keep themselves healthy and find ways to afford their own health insurance? Should the government determine prices for health insurance and medical care? Or should free market and competition determine what cost gets paid? Not only in healthcare, but many other topics, public versus private frequently separates Republicans and Democrats. So the ACA was, and is, a big deal because it sort of started answering that question. It started putting more of the responsibility for healthcare into the government's hands. Now, Democrats like that, and Republicans don't like that. So keep that context in the back of your head as we start looking at what different people have had to say about the ACA. There's the conservative-leaning National Review. Obamacare is a disaster that, left untouched, will be saved only by a massive taxpayer bailout of insurance companies. Or conservative Charles Krauthammer, who in 2012 called Obamacare a constitutional assault, the state invading the autonomy of religious institutions, private companies, and the individual citizen should not surprise. It is what happens when the state takes over 1/6 of the economy. Then there's Democrat Hillary Clinton, who called the ACA one of the great accomplishments, not only of this president, but of the Democratic Party going back to Harry Truman. Or Democrat President Obama's administration's 100-page report that highlighted how the law has improved medical care and saved people money over the 6 years since it was passed. But look what's happening there. You'll hear from one side that the ACA gives the government a lot of power, from another that it saves lives. But they're not even talking about the same things. I mean, yeah, they're talking about the same law, but they see that same law doing different things. And the things that one side doesn't like about the law aren't the same thing as the other side does like. Worst of all, though, they don't even explain that line of thinking to their audiences. They just yell louder and louder. But we should be fair to them. They only do it because it's a lot easier to sell headlines when there's two and only two sides. Obamacare will save us from the fiery pits of 1,000 hells. Obamacare will condemn us to the fiery pits of 1,000 hells. But it's not even remotely true that there are only two sides. There are a lot of ways to feel about healthcare, and anyone's feelings may not squeeze into those two sides. Look, there's a lot to know about the ACA, and it is complicated. So, I hope you'll watch my next videos, where I try and explain some of that complication. But if you decide not to, let me leave you with this. We need meaningful laws about healthcare in this country, and whether or not you know how you feel about the ACA is fine. But if we're going to make those meaningful laws, we need to talk better with people we disagree with. So, if you find yourself having a hard time talking with someone you disagree with, try keeping this in mind. Try to find out why they feel how they do about the fundamental responsibility of healthcare. And if you don't know, what could someone do if they didn't know how someone else felt? Oh, right. Assume they're evil, hate your values, and want to destroy America. Pretty much everyone else starts from there. Please look for next week's episode, part 2, where we'll cover some of the most basic, objective facts about the ACA before moving on to explaining some of the context. Thank you for putting up with me this far. I'm Ross, and this is the Talk Better Project. I'm not trying to tell you what or how to think. I'm just trying to encourage people to have better conversations with people they disagree with. I'm making this for anyone who's been frustrated by politics in the last few months and years. Let's do something about it. You can help. The biggest help would be clicking the link to Patreon and showing your support, or share the video, or subscribe to my channel, like the video. Those all really, really help. Thanks. See you around. Next time on the Talk Better Project. The most controversial part of the ACA is undoubtedly the section that diverts most of the funds to found a Hogwarts in America and try to cure everyone through magic. While the ACA ended up costing nearly a... No, wait, that can't be right. Numbers don't go that high. I think there's a typo here. Is this supposed to say billion? Trillion? Numbers don't go that high. Do numbers go that high?